Would you like to join EuRoC?
I would quite like to go. We would probably launch a liquid there. I mean, of course, the current plan is to launch Desert Winds at FAR because they let anything launch at FAR. So, and we're going there anyway, so it kind of made sense. And we do need to actually contact EuRoC to just ask about whether they'd be happy with our style of rocket, because a lot of, from what I've seen at EuRoC and from European teams in general, is that they make quite complicated systems that encounter issues that prevent them from launching, or anomalies during launch, which is kind of what we desperately tried to avoid with ours, because we want to get it off the pad, really. Yeah, so we're using like a concentric tank architecture for our liquid, involving nitrous self-pressurization, but also using a piston to pressurize the fuel, which is commonly done over in the States by the half-cat rocketry guys and a couple more, some unis, some other amateurs, and a potential liquid space shot coming up from some of the guys over there, which is really exciting to see. And we've also adopted that way of doing things. And yeah, we kind of do need to just check to see if EuRoC would be okay with that, because it's not really been done in Europe before. But I think if it was adopted by a lot of European teams, then there'd be a lot more successful launches, because it really does make the system much simpler,
Yeah, you don't have any control on the rocket at all.
No, I mean, for example, we are having the only electronics on Desert Winds will be an Easy Mini and a Strato logger in the nose cone, and maybe some RF beacon for tracking. The actual servos that control our valves are controlled from the ground. The ignition is from the ground as well, so it's a very kind of minimum viable.
On fire and hope it flies. Yeah. But with EuRoC in general, I think that it would be lovely to go to EuRoC. I would really like to go to EuRoC. I think one of the most brilliant things about the competitions, there's a reason why we're going to Race to Space and Macrahanish, is you actually get to meet the other teams and talk to the other teams and see their designs. And I think for that aspect, we'd absolutely love to go to EuRoC. But I think currently our main mission goals at the moment usually lie at FAR, because we know how to get there. There is, for our altitude rockets, you can't launch those at EuRoC. We're trying to go to 40 kilometers into the air, which is a little bit above the EuRoC altitude ceiling. And then for the liquids, I'd say that the fact that EuRoC has such a tight launch window system means that we are much more likely to get a launch at FAR, because we can kind of chill out and mess around with the rocket for a much longer period of time. All the systems are a lot closer together. It's a lot easier to, I think, do the launch operations. But I personally really want to apply for EuRoC this year.
Me too.
I think we should apply, and I think when the EuRoC applications open, which I believe is going to be really soon if they have not already opened, we're going to try and apply for that with Desert Winds, essentially.
I mean, if we get it back, then
ideally the rocket works and we get it back and we simply polish it up and relaunch it, which would be...
That's a big question mark, if we're getting Desert Winds back. That's a huge question mark. If it gets off the rail, excellent. If we get it back, I don't want to say I'll be surprised, but liquids in general have a poor recovery record, and this is our first liquid, so you can kind of see my attention there.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but at some point soon, in the next 2 years, you almost certainly will see Sunride at EuRoC.
If our application's good.
If our application's good. Very true.
What are your goals for the competitions?
So I guess I'll start with Race to Space on that one, because this year it'll be the second year that it's running, and the goals there is like points criteria that Alistair's laid out. One of them being efficiency, which I'm opposed to, but it's Race to Space is called the competition, but it's kind of just like a free test for teams to try out cool things, or just get engines working, or try out some kind of funky new tech. Our goal for that is we're trying to go for, because Airborne, the test site that is held at, or one of the test sites, they are getting a larger IPA tank, so we're aiming for a 20-second burn there with the same regen we fired there previously. And also, if that all goes smoothly, then we're hoping to do a shear coax type of injector rather than an impinging injector that is the one we currently use, because that would be cool to see if we can. That would hopefully increase our efficiency a bit, which I'm not opposed to doing if we have the engine working beforehand. So that's kind of our goals for that. I know there's a lot of other teams doing a load of really cool stuff.
Macrahanish competition.
Yeah.
The recovery team doing the steerable parachutes, as I mentioned briefly before. They're going to go to Matt Granish. I know that Ed's personal, what are our goals for the competition are get the parafoil deployed in a state where it can be controlled. And hopefully the big, like we've ticked all our goals, is to do a flyby of the crowd. It should be possible. We've designed it with a glide ratio that should make it well able to do a flyby. But I think our main challenge with that is going to be deployment. But luckily we have lots of MRCs to test opening the parafoil and make sure that our system of opening the parafoil is very sound. What other competitions are we going for? I was going to say we currently, unless we apply for EuRoC, in which case our competition will probably be get as close to the altitude as possible / get it off the pad.
Get it off the pad.
Get it off the pad. I think that our wider sort of the larger competition is the UK altitude record, which Leeds are going for, Imperial are going for, Bristol high altitude they're going for.
Obviously they're going for it. It's a record. Exactly. Records are designed to be broken. That's the whole point. But there's a lot of people going for it, so it's kind of seeing if we can keep it for ourselves more than anything. But there's a lot of really good teams full of great engineers trying to break that. So it'll be really exciting to see. I mean, competition, even if it's not an official competition, like competition for a record or for highest thrust engine, for example, we had that initially with Sunfire 2. Imperial snagged it back with their Thanos R, and then we took it back from them with Sunfire 3. And I think they're gonna. I told them to try and break it with theirs, to try crank theirs above what it currently is. So they're probably going to take it back within the next few weeks. And it's kind of this really cool. Just everyone's pushing everyone to do more cool stuff. And so the informal competition, like for the altitude record, it's kind of pushed everyone to kind of really think about how they're doing it and how they can maybe get the edge over other teams. And it'll be really interesting.
The really nice thing about the UK uni teams at the moment and the competitions in between the UK teams and all these unofficial competitions like most powerful engine, first UK liquid launch, highest altitude launch, it's really nice having these competitions, but also having such open dialogue with all the teams that are competing with us and going to the same events and seeing them test their rockets at the same time as we're testing our rockets.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
And I think this is something that I've very much pushed for. It's just being completely open with what we're doing, like just not really holding anything back of exactly how we're doing it. If someone asks, we will say, So if anyone has any questions over any of our rockets, please do send us a message and you'll get a hopefully detailed answer on that. Because it's beneficial for everyone and it's just nice to see. So yeah, this year we've definitely pushed for being open, and I know a lot of other uni teams have kind of followed suit, which is really, really cool to see.
How do you see Rocketry evolving in the future?
I think that Rocketry is evolving so much. I think it's the space sector is one of the fastest growing sectors at the moment. And I do think, especially within the UK, Sunride gives people experience to go into Rocketry immediately on graduating uni is really, really, really important. It is already playing a part. I know for a fact that there are like RFA, Rocket Factory Augsburg, they had a couple of graduate engineers from Sunride that come back to us with missions to recruit more Sunride engineers, because it is experience. It is one of the only places you can get experience. And I think going forwards into the future, it's only going to become more prevalent. Like, as there are more space companies in the UK, as Orbex and Skyrora expand, if there are any new space companies that come along, they will be hiring from the pool of Sunride engineers, but also a lot of the other engineers at other uni student rocket teams.
And I think in general in the UK, there has been teams like rocket teams in the UK, especially from unis, who have been going for quite a while. But over the past couple of years, there's been a sudden boom of them, just cropping up pretty much everywhere, which is really cool to see. And I think because of course the Americans have done loads of these milestones being done already, but in the UK they are still yet to be achieved. So I think there'll be a lot of progress, kind of almost doing that from all the UK teams, and just it'll be cool to see where it goes. There's already dialogue with the CAA over changing some of the regulations that is actually limiting rocketry in the UK, such as the impulse limit, or especially surrounding liquids. But of course, nothing's confirmed or sorted yet. But there is motivation from everyone to kind of to expand this hobby and this thing, and hopefully expand the career opportunities for us and future rocketeers.